pushing the water, and there's a jogger actually. Look at this. Wow. The Florida man right there for you, Blake, jogging in the hurricane.
Why can't you change your thinking? Everybody else does. Do you know what everybody says? It's suicide. You've seen him, you know how strong he is. You can't win.
Because I'm a fighter. That's the way I'm made, Adrian. That's what you marry. We can't change what we are.
Well, maybe I can't win. But the baby, he's gonna have to kill me.
Then why didn't you quit? You knew I was trying to get rid of you, yet you stayed.
Yeah, I stayed. I stayed because every time you threw a brick at my head or said I smelled, it hurt. But it could never hurt more than it did every day of my life just being me. I stayed because I thought if anyone could change me, could make me not me, it was you.
The odds were stacked against me. I won anyway. Because I win.
You won because Edward Darby came forward. You got lucky.
Guys like you always think other people get lucky. I don't get lucky. I make my own luck. And in this case, it's bleeding you dry.
Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow.
To be the best, you have to work the hardest. You have to chase what seems impossible over and over and over again. Because giving up is not an option. When you feel like you've reached your limit, it's only the beginning. That's when it's time to dig deep, to find the courage to push some more. Because if you got the drive, the discipline, and the resolve to do what it takes to make yourself great, then the rewards are endless.
There is no excuse for not living up to your fullest potential. No excuse. I told you, I didn't get a new daddy. I didn't get a new mama. What changed? I changed. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying, I've got to wait for good things to happen to me. And I said, I'm going to grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to press toward. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power. Every single day, I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. Now, let me say this before I move forward. And I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose.
I am cold. I am emotionless. I am zen, at peace, ready for war. So I pay no attention to how he is feeling or how he is going to feel. I simply enter the way I enter. And that is enough.
And I have all these epiphanies, man. I have all these moments of it's crazy, man, of just thought. Cause I'm always by myself. I'm always deep in thought about how to be better. And I look out there, I'm like, man, I wonder how many of you in there fucking just are so upset with how you lived your life. And just regret how you lived it. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man, don't die like this, bro. Don't die like this. So people wonder where this shit comes from me. It comes from such deep thought of trying to see what this is all about. What is this life all about? What am I all about? Why am I here? You know, I had to find purpose.
They say the greatest achievement of somebody comes right after their worst defeat. When they've hit rock bottom, hit the bottom of the barrel, they got nothing left. Everyone's given up on them. They've lost all their worldly possessions. They're dead broke on their back. It's at that point, guys, when everything's lost, that everything can be gained. There's no more ego there, is there? They let go of, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't like, what if this person rejects me? The animosity, the pressures of society, they let it all go because they've lost it all. They're just now left with the intestinal fortitude, the pride within. Do I want to stay on the bottom of this barrel or do I climb the fuck out of this hole?
Well, you're not aiming low enough. There's something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement. But it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity.
There's a choice that we have to make as people, as individuals. If you want to be great at something, it's a choice that you have to make. We all can be masters at our craft, but you have to make a choice. What I mean by that is the inherent sacrifices that come along with that. Family time, hanging out with your friends, being a great friend, right? Being a great son, nephew, whatever the case may be. There's sacrifices that come along with making that decision.
Because I started becoming civilized. I started becoming complacent. I need to get my ass kicked again. And when you go as a SEAL, going down to, you have no rank in Ranger School, you could be a major. You're just Joe Brown. You're nobody. And you're not eating, you're not sleeping. So I always would I would immerse myself in shit like that. Even I would climb the ladder and I'd intentionally fall back down that. Say, all right, man, getting soft, dude. Getting soft. Kick your ass again.
When I say commitment and belief has to be unparalleled, it's either you're in or you're out. What that means is that if you are in and you believe in yourself, no one can change that. The weak of the world are committed when everything's in a perfect setting. But as soon as things get hard, they start having doubts. And why are the doubts? Not because they're failing, because other people are saying stuff and they're giving value to these third-party people as if they're going to help them. No one's going to help you. No one's ever going to help you guys. You've got to help yourself. And I hate to say this, you really can't trust anyone but yourself. And if you trust yourself and you bet on yourself, you'll never lose.
How afraid are you of not making a change? Let's make a little vision of that. You're 35, you hate your job. What's the consequence? You're not motivated, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, you're starting to get depressed, you're getting bitter, you're getting resentful, you're getting cynical, you're amotivated at work, you're not doing a very good job, and you're starting to shrink. Now play that out for 10 years. You don't change it, you don't fix it. And what happens? Well, it's not like it's going to get better of its own accord. What's going to happen to you? Well, for sure, at minimum, what's going to happen to you is you're going to be in the same situation, but 10 years older. And if you can't get out of that situation now, what the hell makes you think you're going to get out of it in 10 years?
Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you, and you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security, ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live.
What I try to do is just try to be still and understand that things come and go. Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all. And then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. You know, a lot of times I've seen players, even myself, you know, when I was younger, being consumed by a particular fear, and to the point where you're saying, okay, nah, it's not good to feel fear. I shouldn't be nervous in a situation right now. And it does nothing but grow versus stepping back and saying, yeah, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it, and then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination.
There's no guarantee that that idea is going to come to life too. You might pour everything you've got into that idea and it can still die. And you might have to let it die. You have to let the dream die because some ideas aren't good enough to live. That's just the way it is. But you know what? At least give it a chance. Don't let that idea die inside your head. No more waiting, no more putting it off or waiting for the right time or the right people or the right alignment of things in the world. No more of that. No more excuses. Just execution. Just go and make it happen.
The biggest risk you can take is not taking any risk. And I really think that that's true, right? I mean, a lot of people I think that, whenever it comes to, whenever you get yourself into a position where you have to make some big shift in direction or do something, there are always, people are going to point to the downside risks of that decision. And locally, they're maybe right? I mean, for any given decision that you're going to make, there's upside and downside. But in aggregate, if you are stagnant and you don't make those changes, then I think you're guaranteed to fail, right? And not catch up. So to some degree, I think it's really right that over time, the biggest risk that you can take is to not take any risks.
It's a war of many battles. The battles are fought every single day for betterment, to bring that elite to the surface of what we always knew we could be. I mean, isn't it about time you guys become the person you always knew you could be? Shut off the volume, the speakers of society telling you what you can't be. Listen to the voice from within, the energy inside, knowing you can be more than this. Where there are no limitations, excuses, negative energy. It's just high voltage of positive energy. Many battles, easily won on a daily occurrence. The war will never be won. Because that war is a better life. The life of inspirement, where you lead others to join you in that endeavor and create something epic.
Once you get to the actual event, your mind isn't ready. Your mind's not prepared. You've been studying, you've been training, you've been working out, but your mind's not prepared. Story for you. When I was 19 years old, I was going through the Air Force trying to be a pararescueman. I was doing push-ups, sit-ups, swimming. I was doing all this shit, knocking out of the park. One of the best in the class. But the second the obstacle got in my way, I wasn't prepared for it mentally. I was a beast. All I was doing was I was training a bigger, stronger, faster quitter. You gotta train your mind for all obstacles that might get in your way. Stay home.
The biggest risk to your future isn't your competition. It's the distractions you insist on keeping in your life rather than doing the things you know you should be doing but aren't. People delay doing things they don't like for longer than it takes to do them.
The fear is never reaching your potential.
That's it.
That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man.
Yep.
And you look back and go, God, I could have been great.
Yep.
I could have been great.
There have been so many times in my life where I knew I needed to do something, and then I filled all this extra time not doing that thing. And then the moment I did it, I was like, wow, that took way less time than I thought it was going to take. And not only that, it took way less time than it took me to delay to actually get to this point. And if I had only started with just doing what I was supposed to do, I could have done 4 or 5 other things that I was also supposed to do by this exact same point. And so thinking about it from that perspective, I've tried to eliminate as much time between I think I should do this thing and beginning doing it. And I think you get this positive reinforcement cycle that occurs every time you start. I call it pulling the thread. It's like, I just need to start pulling the thread. And then all of a sudden what feels really unknown becomes very tangible. And you're like, oh, I understand the 6 problems I have to solve to do this big thing. But now I know the problems, and then it feels like you can wrap your arms around it, and then you can start taking it one bite at a time.
Everyone laughed at him for being different. Let those fucking peasants of the world laugh at you now for being different, because that's beautiful. And laugh back at them for being the same motherfuckers everybody else you fucking see. This workout, when you finish this workout, guys, you should have an internal fucking voice hitting so hard inside yourself. Like mama sitting there, ringing the dinner bell. If not, your job ain't done yet. Turn the fuck around, dot face, come back here and finish the day. Because this day is the start of evolution. Or the person you always be remembered for, called legacy, motherfucker.
All those mornings that you didn't want to fucking get up, and I look at it as like a fucking, like a rock. And you find this fucking rock, and that rock is you. And every day you fucking fight not wanting to get up. And you do anyway. You chip another piece off that fucking rock. And every day you fucking eat the right foods. And every day you go to train. You train harder and harder and harder and harder. And you get up early. And all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're chipping another fucking piece of that rock up. Before you know it, you have this beautiful fucking piece of artwork that you built. But people don't, and then once you get there, you see it. And it becomes real. Like, oh my God, I fucking did this shit. And so like the fucking journey becomes so real then. But so many people aren't willing to fucking chip away at that stone that is them to start chipping off those fucking rough edges.
I think that there's a certain delusional quality that all successful people have to have. You have to believe that something different than what has happened for the last 50 million years of history. You have to believe that something different can happen.
You always want to blame other people. You want to hold other people to the fire, but you're not holding yourself to the fire. You just said you're giving 50%. You owe you an explanation. You owe you an explanation. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are you only giving 50%? What's wrong with you? You need to put yourself on punishment. You need to tell you no more TV, no more snacks, no more desserts, no, we working out now. No more alcohol, not right now. I can't handle it right now. You need to tell you that you owe you something. Stop going back to, you keep going to the mall with the receipt. This is what y'all said it was. Glenn, you didn't do what you said you was gonna do. Well, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, so how am I gonna do what I'm supposed to do for you?
You keep looking for it outside of you. Stop. Sit with yourself. What is it that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? That's your gift. But if you are constantly looking outside of yourself and you don't latch on to your gift, you will never find your purpose. If you want to succeed, you must commit to your own gift and embrace it.
And ask yourself, what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of that? I gotta be more afraid of what I'm gonna miss out on, missing out on my mission, missing out on who I'm supposed to be. If you're not gonna get rid of fear, then use fear. Use fear or it uses you. It's that simple.
You gotta stop thinking about it and stop dreaming about it and stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Just start doing it. Take that first step and make it happen.
Fear is self-imposed, meaning it doesn't exist. You create it, you can destroy it too. I love fear. The reason why? Behind every fear is a person you want to be. You face your fears, you become the person you want to be. You run from your fears, you're not living. You're alive, but you're not taking the freedom. If you face your fears, guys, fear is destroyed. It comes back in its confidence. Like, what else am I capable of? What else am I holding my back from that I'm capable of more? Where am I running from I don't need to? What else can I overcome? You go after and you give it all you have. If you lose, at least you tried, man. I failed. It's 10 times more of a man than someone said, what if? Because what if never went to the arena. And you do it right. The best of your ability every single time. That's the same person who has his hand raised on the podium one day.
Well, I think the one thing that discipline definitely does help you with is it helps you get things done. And when you get things done, when you actually do things, you have more success. If you have more success, sometimes a big part of success is just not being fucking lazy and just doing it. That's like 90% of it is just showing up. Get there and start working. Like, you're not going to feel perfect every day. If I only worked out when I felt good, I'd be a fat fuck.
But what happens in life is that we think they stay down there. If you don't handle self-doubt, insecurities, fucking imperfections, jealousy, all these fucking things, allow people to bully you, fuck you around, your nuts start to retract back up. Insecurities end up here, self-doubt, all this shit before you know it in your fucking chest. You end up with chestnut syndrome. How you fix chestnut syndrome is you gotta man the fuck up. Hit your fucking chest, send a signal to your fucking mind that you're gonna man the fuck up. Then fall back in your fucking sack. Once they fall back in your sack, you sack it the fuck up. Stay hard.
See, in your life, everybody has a turn back moment. You have a moment where you can go forward or you can give up. But the thing you have to keep in mind before you give up is that if you give up, the guarantee is it will never happen. That's the guarantee of quitting, that it will never happen, no way under the sun. The only way the possibility remains that it can happen is if you never give up, no matter what.
No, I always dreamed as a kid that it was possible to score 80 or 90 or 100. I always just had a dream. Like sometimes you lay down in bed and you visualize things. You just kind of that's at least how I would go to sleep. I'd lay down, I'd imagine playing for the Lakers, and I'd imagine what the uniforms look like. I'd imagine what we'd be playing, and the smell of the arena and all this stuff. And I would see myself, getting hot, scoring 10 straight points. But in a dream, why would you ever interrupt that? You're not going to have a dream and be like, okay, then he misses his next 6. It's not going to happen. So you just keep dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, and before I go to sleep, I'm at 120 points, And so when you grow up, downloading that into your brain over and over and over, and then that summer, I made 1,000 shots a day, 1,000.
Everything you want in life, you can have. You can have all your wants in life. But not 1 second before we stop making excuses for not having what you want. And you get rid of those excuses of life. Get rid of the voices of what everyone else says. Because there's two people inside of you, right? There's a person that everyone else sees on the outside looking in. And then there's the other person. The person you believe your potential can be. What you can see is what you see that you can be. The undying will of the individual to come out. That guy's scary. Too fast is scary. One, it takes hard work. You have to feel like this to give birth to him. You know, it's just, scary for a lot of people. They have to go through, they have to endure that sweat equity of life, dedication and sacrifice, with diligence to see it through. The unknowns of life. It's the path less taken. That's scary.
The first step, the first day, the first minute, okay, you're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kick ass, right? And the next day comes and you're like, man, this is a little tougher. And then you take another step and another step. And maybe you get to Thursday or Friday and you're like, fuck, this is pretty fucking hard, man. All right? And then what happens is the enthusiasm from the beginning of the process starts to fade out. You forgot why you started. All you could think about is what's in front of you right now. All you could think about is that next grueling step, that next terrible workout that you just can't fucking stand anymore.
But imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the dreams given to you by life, the ideas that you never acted on, the talents, the gifts, the abilities that you never used. And there they are, standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died this very moment, what will die with you? What dreams? What ideas? What talents? What leadership potential? What greatness that you showed up to bring? That you allowed fear or procrastination to hold you back?
Playing out the fear, Layla says this, and I love it, but that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it. And I just love that visual, because a lot of times when it's like we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make, if you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
Are you accountable for what you're doing? Are you accountable? And I mean to the T for what you're saying. I am. And that's where it started. It started with that total accountability of, let's not lie today. Let's tell people the truth about who you are. And when you can get on and tell someone, like I'm doing right now, exactly how fucked up you are, that's the goal in life. To put your life on a billboard on the busiest road in the busiest highway in the world and say, this is how fucked up I used to be. Take it or leave it.
You are the only one that's going to be able to save you. And all this time, you point your finger and you say, I can't do that because I was born here, or I can't do that because I have this issue, or I can't do that because they made fun of me. And you know what's gonna happen? Nothing. You're gonna get more of the same, you're gonna get laughed at more, you're gonna be ashamed more, you're gonna be frustrated more, and you're gonna really regret at the end of your life that you put off taking responsibility for yourself and building yourself into what could be.
So the key is, if you want to be successful, don't be afraid of failure. Has anybody here ever failed, by the way? Have you ever failed? Yes. Did failure hurt you? No. Failure makes you strong. There's an old saying that what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Failure has made you strong. Failure has developed your character. There's an old saying that the north wind made the Vikings. The cold of the north wind coming out of the north that they had to row against made them the most formidable fighting force in the world. It's failure that makes us strong, but it's the fear of failure that kills us. And the way that you deal with the fear of failure is, once you've decided what your dreams are and what you want to do, act as if it were impossible to fail. Imagine it were impossible to fail. Say, by gum, I can do that, and just start to think of all the benefits of achieving that goal, and then act boldly. Confront your fears. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Do you know that the ability to confront the fear of failure and to overcome it and to move towards your fears rather than away from them is the one guarantor that you absolutely become unstoppable? If you do it over and over again, you develop the habit of courage. When you develop the habit of courage, eventually you find you're not afraid of anything.
Well, it's everything's mindset, man. And if your mindset is so weak that you're like, oh, it's only genetics can do that, it's only genetics. And you listen to society's rhyme the reasons and the rules of the land as if they apply to you. No wonder you're always going to be a servant here. No wonder. It's not until you say, fuck it. That might be how it's written. It ain't going to be the way it's going to go down, though, for me. You got to rewrite your own history in life, man. Stop listening to what everyone says is the way it is. Fuck's sake.
You can decide that you're going to stand up to life. You can decide that I'm going to live each day as if it were my last. You have the power to make that decision. You can decide, I'm going to work on myself and develop myself. I'm going to empower me. And all of these things that are happening to me right now, they're just temporary inconveniences. They're not stronger than I am. I'm in charge here.
We're born into this world, we actually wind up going backwards. And it seems like the more we mature, the more responsible our dreams become. The more governors we put on ourselves and our ability to dream and to reimagine. And it's always a fight for us parents and for you guys to make sure that your dreams always stay pure. So it's not a matter of pushing beyond the limitations or expectations. It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination. That's really the key. And when you do that, then the world just seems limitless.
There are no failures. There's only quitting. Every single hardship, every single obstacle is going to serve you if you allow yourself to let it serve you. So what these people think, their doubts and their criticism and their bullshit and their loser mentality, put it all up here on your shoulder, and when you don't feel like it, and when you're frustrated, and when you want to quit, take the proper amount out, and the proper amount is the amount that gets you off your ass and gets you executing. Because if you are executing day in and day out, no matter what, there is not a single fucking thing that can stop you.
The struggle is real. It never gets any easier. You got to get harder. I was out yesterday getting after it. Had one of the best runs I've had in a long time. PR'd that bitch. So, no one cares what you did yesterday. It only matters what you're doing today. Those who take me literally, so I'm a cheerleader for those who want to be better, not for those who want to stay the same. Stay hard.
I think a lot about that from the climb perspective, which is like most of everyone who's listening to this who isn't achieving what they want is fucked with their time. They think that they're spending all their time working, but your output, like you don't even know how to work. I'm being really real with you. Like, you think you know how to work, you don't know how to work. Like, the amount of output, like, and I'll measure this by, like, what is your output? It's probably not as high as you think. And so, rather than trying to learn all these productivity hacks, the ultimate productivity hack is no. N-O. Is you stop doing shit. And then when you create space, then you can fill it with the thing that matters. But try and add on more to your schedule of all the things that you're not willing to sacrifice is the very reason that you're not doing what you need to do.